like to call the Audit and Accountability Committee to order. This is our meeting dated Thursday, July 26, 2012. Ms. Smith, will you please call the roll? Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Okay. Before we get into the meeting, I'd like to share some information. I'll read a statement before we get started. Some of you are probably already aware that Dr. Harris is on vacation, and that she had informed us in advance that she would not be attending today's meeting. She's taking a much-deserved break and spending time with her 4-year-old grandson. And she's taking him back home to New Jersey tomorrow. Let me say that I'm very, very disappointed in the allegations that I had interfered or inappropriately involved myself in the investigation into allegations of improprieties involving attendance reporting, or that I pressured the internal auditor with respect to wrapping up our investigation into this very serious issue. Let me be clear that I have never pressured, put any heat on anyone with respect to the investigation, and that any statements made to the contrary are absolutely untrue. As board president, it is my responsibility to ensure that the direct reports to the board provide information when appropriate to one another in order for the district to operate in the most efficient and effective manner possible. My conversation with the internal auditor with respect to her investigation was limited to determining whether she had provided the superintendent with any formal reports or substantive information that would allow Dr. Harris to resolve questions of impropriety with respect to the 2 staff members who were recently reassigned. We did not discuss, nor did I ask for other information relative to the details of this investigation. In addition, in trying to understand the internal auditor's role in the investigation of the attendance reporting allegations with respect to the responsibilities of the auditor of the state, I asked the internal auditor to explain what she understood her role and scope to be in the greater context of the larger investigation. The internal auditor hasn't provided no such reports or updates to the board, and I believed it was important to understand her scope of work. Because there have been recent audit and accountability meetings in which there was not a quorum, I asked the internal auditor if she was confident that there would be a quorum for today's meeting in order for us to be able to take any necessary actions. As would be expected of the committee chair, and with an established precedent for doing so, I also asked the internal auditor that we review the agenda and share with me what she was planning to present to the committee with respect to formal or informal reports. I want to reiterate and make it absolutely clear that in no way did I state or imply that the internal auditor needed to expedite or conclude her broader investigation into the attendance reporting issue. As the president of the Board of Education, I take my role very, very responsible and very seriously. And I want to make certain that a thorough investigation into these serious allegations is conducted, and if there are any findings of impropriety, that the appropriate actions are taken in order to restore the community's confidence in our school district and, above all, our Columbus Board of Education. So with that, let's continue on with the meeting. The internal auditor report under board legislation, information from Eastman and Smith Limited.
Yes. And President Perkins, I appreciate your comments, and I would just like to say that I stand by the information that I shared with the board members.
Thank you, internal auditor, and I too stand by the information that I just shared with this committee and the public.